Got it. I think Ticket Network takes the philosophy, and what we've lobbied for, at least in Connecticut, which we were successfully passed, is that if you're a venue selling tickets and you have more than 3,000 capacity, you have to make those tickets fully transferable without going through the venue. Okay, so that means if you're selling an event in Connecticut for a venue, you have to make those tickets fully transferable without going to the venue. Now, we think that's a big privacy concern. I do believe there's a place for mobile. You know, there's some customers who like mobile. There's some customers who like hard tickets, paper tickets. We don't believe in forcing anyone to use one product. There's also security issues with mobile. I was speaking to a gentleman today from a financial institution who couldn't download the app to do it because it wasn't cleared by their technology guys to put on their company's cell phones. You know, if you work for a financial institution or a lot of companies or in a different thing, you can only put on your cell phone what they want as far as an app. So I see that that's a problem. I see there's security concerns that of all the information they track on the phones, your IP address, stuff like that. A lot of the way breaches happen is companies that track IP addresses get hacked. People get the IP address of the users. They know how to get back to that user's actual PC. But in saying that, I think there's definitely a place for folks who want mobile ticketing. It should be an option. For folks, and anybody should be able to transfer tickets freely. So as far as we're concerned, we're able to navigate this fine without the partnership, okay? So we don't need to be in part of the partnership. We also believe it devalues the value. It actually does devalue the value of PSLs if you do have PSLs, because I believe in these partnerships there's a fee paid back to the league to integrate. Now that drives up your ticket price during the year. You lose that money. It makes PSLs less valuable. But right now, we're able to integrate fine, transfer the tickets fine, and everything's been going smooth. So, you know, I don't like that trend of forcing someone to do that. I know various states have spoken out against it. Connecticut, it is carte blanche, per se a violation of the statute. You can't do it in Connecticut. Virginia has a very close statute for that. New York, you can arguably say that this restriction is not legal in New York because it's a way to make tickets less transferable, and you can make a good argument that you have to have a smartphone to do it, you have to purchase something, therefore it's non-transferable.
I think to that point, I think that, you know, it's interesting to bring that up, that I think the Buffalo Bills have offered every season ticket holder a hard ticket option because of that, because that I think gets them into compliance with a transferable method that doesn't need to go through the primary.
Yeah, no, that's a great example. And also, too, is ultimately, if other places or other entertainment places do this, it's going to hurt brokers in the long run. Because I believe, and I don't know the terms of the deal, is that every ticket you transfer, you give them every piece of information they can get, the tickets sold, who those people are going with, stuff like that. So I think it's altogether bad for the brokerage industry to mandate it. As an option, I think it's fine. There's still a lot of concern with brokers that your tickets are going to get taken away. We all know that it doesn't happen in a bad year. We know that when it happens in a good year. And, you know, the classic example I always give is with the Denver Broncos. The gentleman who wanted to stay home with his pregnant wife during the delivery sold his tickets through their authorized channel, exactly did everything that they said to do, and they said, no, we're taking away your tickets because you stayed home to be with your wife during pregnancy and you sold them instead. Denver Broncos just didn't seem to care about it, but that's their opinion. And just so you know, like, I know a lot of folks on the team side that I've known for years. I know a team owner very well, and the owner that I know supports brokers, doesn't take away tickets for reselling just because that's his philosophy. But other team owners are going to scrape and scratch any penny that they can get out of it and seek control. So I think that brokers, there are a lot of brokers, especially the brokers with longevity who have been through this, you know what I mean, that are transferring them outside of the system just because they don't want them to know everything about that customer. I don't necessarily know if we need to self-regulate. I think at the end of the day that certain brands and certain folks who do the right thing will succeed. I'd say that, you know, we want transferability. We think floor pricing is illegal, okay? There was a league signed a very lenient lawsuit with a major sports league about banning floor pricing, or banning the coordination of floor pricing by the league with the teams. So, you know, we're against floor pricing, excuse me, we're for transferability, but we're also for one other big issue that has finally gotten some traction this year. We don't believe that different entertainment genres that are playing in publicly funded venues should have restrictive rights on ticketing. For example, there's a lot of venues that say, all right, you're doing a sports team, you could sell your tickets to whoever you want. You could do a family show, you can sell your tickets to whoever you want, to the event promoter. But you do a concert or you do a comedy show, you can't. You have to use our distribution channel, okay? Now, we're very much against that. We don't believe in any type of discrimination. We think it's a discriminatory practice. And if you look at the top 20 folks who sold the most tickets last year, you're going to see that there's going to be a lot of minorities and women that are being disenfranchised by this rule. And we know Pearl Jam fought against it for years, but this is the first year ever that a legislative body has put in their legislation to ban that practice, and that was in Hawaii. And they were very concerned that the indigenous folks of Hawaii were cut out of the entertainment market. The bill didn't go anywhere, but it's out there. So we think that's a very big thing that was brought up in the New York Attorney General's discussion, because let's face it, the biggest problem we have in this industry, it's not sports tickets, it's concert tickets and the way concert tickets are sold. Concert tickets have this genre exclusion, which, you know, you can make an argument that it might not be legal depending on some states' laws. And it's so important of the increase in spend that StubHub is doing on government relations legislation and how important that is. And I just want to share with you that the brokers have no seat at the table. Absolutely no seat. You might think you do, but you don't. No one out there, look, I want to protect Ticket Network. I think these folks want to protect their businesses. That's great. But the brokers need to protect their business, whether it's PR campaign, anything, and you need to define the issues, because we keep on running up with this issue on speculative tickets. So, you know, in case you haven't known, Ticket Network was sued by the New York Attorney General. However, Ticket Network settled the lawsuit today, so it's all public, and basically we can sell those tickets, okay? So there isn't any real issue. And you say, what is a speculative ticket? So I think Gary Adler has probably the best definition, that you have a reasonable assurance of getting the ticket. Now, you're saying to brokers, it seems like a lot of the entertainment providers and the primaries are putting that on you to defend your position on how you get tickets. Well, we turn this around, or sort of at the FTC hearing, and we're saying, do you know that these primaries, they put on concert dates for Ed Sheeran, for Taylor Swift, where they didn't have the venue rented. And they had to cancel it 3 days before the show. I don't know if there's any Houston brokers here, because I remember the Houston Astros, nobody thought they were going to make the World Series. In the contract, you can't have the venue. They were selling speculative concerts. And the same arguments work. Figure that, 50, 60,000 people can't go to that show because it was a speculative concert. We had a concert canceled in upstate New York the other day. The reason was technical difficulties. There were no technical difficulties. It was sale difficulties. You have Broadway shows that say, here's our limited engagement. You sell those tickets. Those are all fall in there and speculative. Now, the problem is that we need to define the issues as a broker community instead of having other people define the issues. There's a lot of primaries and artists who do VIP packages, okay, that are selling a ticket for $1,000 on the day of sale, but issuing a press release that say tickets are $129. New York went after them in 1980 and signed a consent decree that they couldn't do that in their advertisements anymore, and they had to include the fee issue in there. So what I'm saying is, look, you do not have to be on the defensive. You can be on the offensive. You need to change the paradigm of what the argument is. Because when we talk about speculative websites, most folks probably don't know it, but there is case law after case law out there that you can use a trademark name in your site and you can be in compliance with the law. It happened in California. Somebody put Lexus cars in their website. Well, all the guy did was resell Lexus cars, okay? And he charged a very small fee, but Lexus didn't want it to happen because they wanted people to go to the Lexus dealers. He brought it up to court. He won in a unanimous decision. That's the precedent of it. So you shouldn't think about that. Speculative tickets is, come on. If you're reasonably assured that you have the tickets, it's good. And the deception is unbelievable. That goes out there in the primary market when you have people say, well, Hamilton tickets aren't on sale yet to the public. They don't say, well, they are on sale to season ticket holders. They're on sale to group holders. They're on sale to contributors. Every venue gets it. The promoter, Jeff Seller, gets it. A lot of people get them before on sale and make that public and say, you have to change the paradigm so that when the media comes to you and they want to know these stories, they want to get them out there, that these tickets are not being sold to the public, but they are available for sale. They're not speculative at all. I think any primary can sell tickets basically the way they want. With a certain it's their company. It is what it is. So you have to find obviously ways to get better at it, or fight legislatively to get equal access to public venues to get ticketing from them and allow the event producers or promoters to give you tickets directly. I mean, that is the biggest fight. Why do you think sports teams have all these huge consolidation deals? If concerts had it, if concert promoters would be allowed to do this, you know how many more concerts we would have in the United States? You know how much cheaper tickets would be? Tickets would be so much cheaper if concert promoters could reach out and not have to use the venue's distributor and use any other distributor they wanted. But going back to waiting rooms and stuff like that, I'm not a suspicious person at all, but sometimes I think when e-commerce sites have a limited supply, you don't know what the price is because they're using dynamic pricing. That some people, not the folks here, might take advantage of this technology and reverse auction the tickets. What I mean is, if you have 40,000 people in your waiting room, the venue seats 2,000. You advertise tickets, some are 30, some are 50. You put 10 each on those, 10 for sale, 30, 10 for 50. The rest are dynamically priced. I don't know if the primaries use that determination of the number of folks in the waiting room, traffic to the website, queue them up purposely to raise ticket prices. And I know there's dynamic pricing that primaries use to raise the price based on indicators from their website. But I wonder if this, not that anybody's doing it now, that somebody would use this waiting room concept to mark tickets up to the highest price possible to consumers, use the data stored that they have about consumers' past behavior, so you know the consumer is in there. So Joe Smith will pay $1,000 Well, you know what? Let's show him dynamically priced tickets for 1,000. John Smith will buy 500. Well, let's show him tickets at 500 and get out. It's a great way to make money. And I just don't know if it happens or if it's disclosed, because you know dynamic pricing happens. You know that it happens based on triggers that people who control the dynamic pricing set. So that's probably the biggest concern that I have about it, and whether that's disclosed to the public, that their participation in these online queues can set the pricing, a la Elon Musk, Tesla. If a primary was actually doing that with the data from the waiting room and not disclosing it to customers, that they were using that waiting room data, they weren't showing the available amount of tickets, they were misleading in the pricing. If any of those factors are in there and you're a primary seller, that would be a huge deceptive practice.
If Ticket Network or another secondary platform were able to gauge how many people are live on their site searching for a certain event and use that to dynamically raise prices, would you feel the same way, or is it secondary subject to a different analysis?
That's great, and I'll share with you, since we don't own the inventory, we let the brokers own it, they price it themselves. If it price fast, so it's a self-correcting mechanism with the secondary, because we don't own the content. I don't own the concerts, stuff like that. So with this, we're just simply a marketplace.
If you did own the content, would it be different?
If I did own the content, I would be subject to different regulatory structures laid out by the government in the Digital Millennium Act or whatever, that says, look, if you own the content, you're a lot more responsible for on the website if you control that content. If you don't own it, you don't. So it would be different if I owned the content. We're professionals in this business. We do it all our lives. That's all we do is buy and sell tickets. It's confusing to me, okay? So this process is confusing, okay? If you look at airlines still, hard tickets, PDF tickets, mobile phone tickets. When I was flying to Europe, the girl in front of me had her mobile ticket, okay? First the scanner couldn't read it. Then she brought up the light. Then the battery died. She missed the flight because they wouldn't let her in. She had to go back to the service counter, but the problem was she couldn't get through the line again to do it. So, and there's also the issue of older people, like myself, don't adopt to mobile that well. We don't adopt that mobile. Hey, our eyes aren't that good. I still have to wear my reading glasses. Urban, disenfranchised Americans, and you're saying, how can you try to support them wasting their money on entertainment tickets? But they have a right to go to shows too. I had an option to donate 500 preseason tickets for an NFL team to the NAACP. But they need mobile phones. They don't got mobile phones. We can't donate the tickets to them. It's a problem, okay? So there's no reason why we can't have PDF tickets and hard tickets. And I'll tell you something interesting too. The concert promoters are noticing the change. They're noticing that they put tickets on sale in 2 different markets. They match the demographics. They match everything as statistically good as you can. They have mobile ticketing. It doesn't sell as many tickets. They have PDF ticketing, hard ticketing, it sells. PDF tickets, they're easy. You can give them away. You don't have to worry that your email address changed. What do you do if your email address changed? Your phone changed. Your phone number changed. Dual verifications. It's great if you want it as an option. But when you mandate, especially on publicly funded venues, venues that everyone in this room has paid for, that use a mobile-only ticketing, it's disenfranchising on elderly people, disenfranchising on minorities, it makes a difference. I don't think we'd ever sell a non-transferable ticket as part of agreement. I don't want to sell somebody personal property and say you can't use it. And again, you know, Connecticut's one of the states where it's basically your personal property. And again, This issue is something we're never going to exchange on the exchange level, okay? This issue is a legislative thing that if you make the argument and you have the right legislators, it's a hard battle to fight. Even New York was a hard battle when they tried to repeal paperless. With a little exclusion they made for the Yankees, it was a hard battle to say to somebody that, look, you can't resell that ticket. It's not your property. And again, just to share with everybody, that case law that everybody refers about is from 1910 or 1912. It means nothing now. Tickets, in my opinion, are property. I don't know if the precedents set back in 1912 still apply. Yeah. Right. You know, I think it's what Ticket Galaxy is no longer Ticket Galaxy. The new company name is Prolific One, just to clarify that. Sorry? I'm sorry. I'm hearing things. So is Prolific One. But we made a fundamental different process than the other exchanges and primaries that own inventory. Any broker who uses our software can buy those tickets with no service charge, ACH from us, you know, with no exchange markup. So they have access to basically all that inventory at the same price that other marketplaces get. Now, that's a fundamental thing that, you know, we kept this policy and we did that to support the broker community because, hey, I want brokers to sell tickets to other brokers. If brokers sell tickets to other brokers and brokers sell tickets on their website and don't use us exchanges, they make more money, we all make more money, and the valuation on your business goes up. If you sell inventory on your own website, people will want to buy your business at some point in time. So what we basically said is this: look, you know, consolidation is a double-edged sword. I don't know if the teams are doing the right thing by consolidation. I think it's follow the next guy, you know. A famous saying from a contract we bring up for Ticketmasters: nobody ever gets fired for renewing the Ticketmaster contract. They get fired for switching to another primary. That's Caduce the Ticketmaster, you know, from the venue side. So what I'm saying is a lot of people follow suit with what they're doing. And, you know, we went through the MLB statistics the other day. We saw that downward slope. That graph does not represent the true downwardness of that slope. And I think that's for a lot of things. I think it's for higher prices, restrictive ticketing, stupid comments by people on the teams, especially the Yankees, seeing pictures of venues with nobody in them. You know what I mean? You look like a fool if you say you have season tickets. Season tickets to what? What are you going to do with them? Then you have even the corporate crowd, the sponsors are saying, you know what, we're cutting back. We don't want to give it. So I'm digressing here. So, but anyway, but we see is, look, brokers sell tickets to brokers. We like consolidation. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But we think ultimately that the more competition in the marketplace there is, the more tickets that are in the marketplace, the supply curve moves to the left, prices come down.